Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. Rahul Gandhi recently wrote an editorial on Maharashtra elections being stolen in multiple dailies in various languages. Now, Election Commission rebutted the charges, and also there appeared a counter article by Devendra Fadnavis in Indian Express, and he also rejected all the charges made by Rahul Gandhi, and in fact putting all the blame on Rahul Gandhi himself. Now, the question is then why did Rahul mention only Maharashtra elections? That is question number one. Now, were there factual errors in those articles? Was Rahul uh, uh, that's one point, that were there factual errors? Then was why and why do Rahul Gandhi's accusations sound less convincing? And veteran author, journalist, and someone who's been advisor to the former Prime Minister VP Singh, Prem Shankar Jha, has written an article as well on this today, and he joins us this evening. So thank you so much for joining. And my first question to you is that when you read Rahul Gandhi's article, and all of a sudden it came in all the dailies in multiple languages, and everyone thought that maybe amidst this Operation Sindoor and various other developments which were happening, all of a sudden he wrote this article, an editorial in various papers. What did you make of when you read that article by Rahul Gandhi?
Well, Rahul Gandhi had made all those allegations earlier on television. So, what the article did was it put in writing things he had already said before and also with greater clarity. The important thing to remember is, see, you asked me what made me begin to, when everybody is being so skeptical about Rahul, why did I believe him? I assume that is what you were asking me. Am I right? Am I right,
Yes.
Niru?
Yes.
All right. Well, first and foremost, in his original February statements, there was one thing that struck me very strongly. He said that the number of voters, listed voters, was at that point he said 1.1 lakh, 1.01 or 1.1 lakh more than the total adult population of Maharashtra. I've subsequently found out, and I wrote in my article, that it is 6 lakhs more than the total population of Maharashtra. How can you have more voters than the people over 18 in the entire state? So straight away, there is something wrong somewhere here, and it's not something wrong. Obviously, names have been added. There's no other explanation for this. Okay. Now that was at that time when he first made the remark in February. After that, I began to ask myself, how is this possible? And the Election Commission's response to Rahul's letter gave me, you know, a much clearer picture of what the Election Commission was saying, and therefore where things had gone wrong. The Election Commission said that we had 103,000 members of the opposition, not the opposition, of the political parties with whom we were in constant touch, and we gave them uh, all the lists for the polling booths, etc. And why did they not speak up then? Now, he also added that 27,000 of these 103,000 were from the Congress. So I thought to myself, the first thing is, if you are deluged with forms, are you going to be able to to examine them carefully or not? It depends upon the size of the form, the number of forms that there are, the number of people there are on that, and then you have to have access to the old forms. Now, in this particular case, what I found was that uh, there are 102 polling stations. So, and there were, in fact, it ended out, I will not go into the details, but simply say that it meant that every single person who was looking at a form, or, at the forms, had to look at 2,000 names, and not once, but repeated names. You're getting updated forms. Now, who can do that? I mean, in the time that is given, it is completely impossible. Secondly, later, it was analyzed for in Delhi, where there is a limited number of constituencies. And then at that point, Sanjay Singh, who was being interviewed by Kapil Dev, at that point he had analyzed 17 constituencies. And they had looked at they actually looked at the previous list and the new list, and then they had found that there were huge numbers of additions, and the total number of additions added up to 3% of the vote in those 17 constituencies. But the BJP only won by 1.99%. So this was a clear case that you know there was something very wrong going on, and it became very clear. Obviously, it was the misuse of Form 17. There are 100. You got 100,000 polling stations. You got 102,000 people who are looking at those lists, and if you keep if the lists don't tally, very few people would notice it to start off with, because don't forget also that this is the first time that such a thing has happened. The element of trust is now gone, but at that point in time, the element of trust had not gone. So
But
take
what
that.
I want to understand from you, Mr. Shah,
I one more minute. One more minute to finish this, because you also broke my train of thought. I have to say, these are data. You have to look at them. One more thing I want to tell you: 44 lakhs was the increase in 5 months in between in 2024. Do you know what was the increase in the same 5 months in 2019? Have you got a figure? Yes or no, Nehru? I want an answer.
no, sir,
Do
in
you
the in
do
the
you know
last,
how many? No. Do you know how many voters increased between in the 5 months between in 2019? Yes or no, please. Say no. I can't hear you. All
I'm
right.
not aware of the exact figures
All right.
because there are specific,
I'm going to give you the figure. All right. Don't worry.
yes,
You
because
don't know it.
there are
Then
conflicting
the
figures
number
on
increased
that.
was 44 lakhs this time. The number in 2019 between the Lok Sabha and the Vidhan Sabha election in Maharashtra was only 11 lakhs. Now you
Okay.
tell me, how do you get two such massive discrepancies? One, 6 lakhs more people on the voters list than the total adult population of Maharashtra. And second, 44 lakh increase in the voters list in this Vidhan Sabha against only 11 lakhs in the previous Vidhan Sabha election. And don't forget that the birth rate in India has been dropping. It's not been rising. You can't suddenly have an explosion of people 20 years ago who were added now who were not there before. The birth rate has been dropping since 1980. So there is absolutely no doubt whatever in this data. And Grok said so. They said that the only form, that there is no way that after all the analysis that you can explain what has happened. This is the biggest mystery of any Indian
Right.
election ever held.
No, but
Okay?
according to you, is there a way out how we can come to know as to what really happened? Now you're saying that Grok itself says that Maharashtra election results is a mystery. But if Rahul Gandhi is repeatedly pointing this out, he had held a press conference in February. Now he
I,
writes an
yeah,
article.
no. I've got all that. You've said it all before. May I just say something? One more thing. Yes, you asked how is it that you can find out. The answer is really quite simple, Neelu. What you need to do is you need to demand from the election commission, please give us all the form sevens that were given for, let's say, a dozen constituencies. You can pick them out and look at what the Form 7s have done, how many they have deleted and how many they have added. You know what the Form 7 is that I'm talking about, don't you?
Yes,
If,
yes.
I'm sure many of your viewers don't, so I'd be very glad if you explain or I can explain, whatever you like. Form 7, should I do so? Form
Yes, sir.
7 is this. You do it, Nilu. You know it better
No,
than I
you do
do.
it, sir. Do it while you're explaining.
All
You
right.
can explain
All
so
right.
that the
May I?
viewers
All
can
right.
go.
Then Form 7 is a form that is voters are allowed to fill in, saying that in our constituency, the following people have died or have moved away or have got married and someone else has come in, or a wife has come in, or so and then give it to the election commission. It was originally a way of the people, the janta, helping the election commission when they're forming their updating their voters lists. In the case of Delhi, they found that Form 7s, one person, for example, in Shahdara, had filled more than 1,000, 1,100 names in a single Form 7, and nobody in the election commission's staff questioned it. And this has been found to happen in constituency after constituency, and I'm absolutely certain this is the explanation in Maharashtra. Now the opposition has been asking over and over again, give us access to those Form 7s. The only thing that the election commission categorically has refused to do, they've given all these long-winded explanations. They have not said, well, come and have a look at Form 7 right here. And they haven't said that. So guilty by denial, guilty by data, guilty by sheer blundering and putting more people on the voters list than the entire adult population of Maharashtra. How can you believe anything but that this election has been rigged? And the use is Form 7. I will say one thing. One last thing I want to say to you, Neelu. You do know there are about the election commission earlier under Ravi Verma, I think his name was, the last chief election commissioner, said that we use we hire 4 million people, to do the entire elections, the Lok Sabha elections. 4 million people all come from the state. They're state government officials. There's no other place you can get them. And it's been habitual that you take them from the same state because they know the language, they know the area, they know the people. So now in this particular case, if you have a totally terrorized government and you've got employees, and there is plenty of evidence that the employees are told what to do, uh, they will do what they are told. Therefore, if there's a Form 7 with 1,000 names on it, they turn a blind eye. Form 7 was never meant for. How can you tell that 1,000 names people have gone into 700 people have come in? One person?
But right, that's very clear that Form 7 is the problem, and the election commission needs to give all the details as far as that is possible. And in fact, Randeep Surjewala had filed a petition. Now they are wanting all the Form 7s and the Form 17s in the digitized format, which election
Not
commission now
just
says
Form 7. It's only Form 7. There's no other
form.
form you need to worry about.
No. So my point is that the election commission, what wrong they have done, Rahul Gandhi has apparently asked them for the details. But just mere asking or writing an editorial, does it really help? And many people say that Rahul is also being misled by his own team members on certain things. What do you have to say to that?
Rahul is not being misled. He's taken 6 months to collect the data that he's giving you. And if that is so, then so is Delhi being misled, right? Okay? Because they're saying exactly the same thing. Now, another point I want to tell you, if Delhi is being misled, tell me one thing. The vote share of the Aam Aadmi Party went down by
So
10%, right?
there's crackling in your audio. It's not very clear.
Can you hear me now? Is it all right
No,
now?
no, sir, there's crackling in your audio. It's not very clear.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I can hear the racket on it. Is it okay now? Now, okay. Okay now?
No, sir,
Okay.
it's not very clear. It's not very clear.
We should give it up then. Another time, huh?
Because
Look,
I'm not able to hear what you have said actually.
I do not know why this is happening. I'm share. Is this a little better?
Maybe is it an internet issue or I don't know.
Every time you speak, it rattles at this end. And every time I speak,
Now you're not audible at all.
no, I can all your sounds
Okay, sir, can you enter again? Can you just log off and enter again?
Do that. I'll try that. Okay, give me one second.
Yes, can you just log off and enter again? In the meanwhile, I will just explain to the viewers that what exactly is this. Now, just a few days ago, Rahul Gandhi, in fact, last week, he had written an editorial talking about how Maharashtra elections were stolen. And to that, Election Commission responded. And then there was an article for an article where Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, he also wrote an article rejecting all the charges which were made by Rahul Gandhi. Now, many people within the Congress party were saying that no, there were certain factual errors, and Rahul Gandhi came doubling down. But today we see there is an article which was written by Prem Shankar Jha and which is titled as, and I'm going to read out that article because we are already talking to Prem Shankar Jha and his internet connectivity got snapped. He has written an article saying that why the response to Rahul Gandhi's accusation of a stolen election is less than convincing. And he's written a two-part series. The first part has been published, and where he says, and I'm just going to read out a few portions. He says that it has taken the Election Commission 4 months to respond to opposition leader Rahul Gandhi's first disturbing accusation at a press conference in February, the press conference which I was talking about, that the commission had somehow managed not to notice that there were 16 lakh more adults on the voters list for the Maharashtra assembly elections than the entire adult population of the state. And that while the electorate in the state had increased by 32 lakh persons between 2014 and 2019, Lok Sabha elections, it has increased by 39 lakhs in 5 months between the Lok Sabha and the assembly elections in 2024. And this Rahul Gandhi has pointed out in several press conferences. And okay, so there is some problem. I think, just a moment. Let me see what Prem Shankar Jha has messaged me. Apparently, he's not able to log in again. 1 minute. Okay, so I've sent him the link again. He just had messaged that he's not able to enter. And Nisha, if you are there at the backstage, I will just pass on Prem Shankar Jha's number to you if you can just add him. 1 minute, huh? 1 minute. Just okay. So, what I was telling you about the article which Prem Shankar Jha has written, he said that on June 7th, Rahul Gandhi repeated the accusation with elaborations in an editorial page article in the Indian Express, and its responses came in the same newspaper in the form of an elaborate piece by reporters quoting an unnamed official of the Election Commission and a condescending article which was belittling Rahul Gandhi by no less important a person than the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, that is Devendra Fadnavis. Now, what Prem Shankar Jha further has written is that these were published within 24 hours of Gandhi's article, showing that the Indian Express had felt it necessary to submit Gandhi's letter to the Modi government and had waited for its response before publishing. Okay, so I think Mr. Jha is back. Mr. Jha, can you hear me? I was just reading
Yes,
out
I
that.
can now. I'm so
Okay.
sorry about that. I don't know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
went
yeah.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah. So now I can hear you clearly. I was just reading out certain excerpts of your article so that the viewers can relate to what we were talking. My question to you, sir, was that Rahul Gandhi has written an article, he's raised this issue in the press conferences, but is that enough for Congress to keep the momentum going now that Bihar elections are just a few months away? Mr. Jha? Yes, Mr. Jha.
Nilu, can you
Yes.
please repeat that, because a phone call came in the middle and cut you off, and I had to cut
Right.
that off.
Okay. So
Just
my
the
question.
last two sentences, okay?
So my question to you is that is writing editorial and just holding press conferences is enough at this point of time, when such a massive electoral fraud is happening? What if it gets repeated in Bihar? What should Congress be doing?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that question. Very simple. The answer is that Form 7 must be abolished. If you are going to use Form 7 now, every single Form 7 must be shown to the entire opposition. Because Form 7 is, as I said to you earlier before we got cut off, is the root of all evil in this particular case. That's all that they need to say. The other thing I would suggest is, in 2002, we had a very great chief election commissioner called Lindo from the Northeast. And at that point, they were having an election in Kashmir, and the entire opposition was saying that if Farooq Abdullah, the National Conference, is allowed to put in all if all the people are state government employees, we will, as usual, be struck off, and NC will win. So you know what Lingdo did? Lingdo first wanted to put people from Bihar and UP, and then when Sheikh Farooq Abdullah protested that these people won't know the language, then he put two people from outside the state and two from the state in each polling booth. And I saw that, and I saw it work magnificently, and that election was absolutely clean, and PDP won. I would say this is the right thing to do. Either do that or do the Form 7, but I would say do both. You want an honest election. If you are honest about it, then you will do what I'm saying. If you would do what I'm saying, then by definition you're dishonest. I'm
So,
sorry
but
to
when
say.
Mr. Jha, you're talking about the electoral fraud, there are several things. Now, there is a civil society movement which is talking about bringing in ballot papers. Then, of course, you have a reality of Form 7, which you feel that should be completely weeded out. Is Congress confused about what to really pick up as far as the electoral fraud is concerned? Because just by raising the issue in the press conference or just by writing an editorial doesn't serve the purpose when there are divisions within the party. And they are for sure, some people do believe that no, we should raise the ballot papers. Some people want that no, the election commission should be giving all the forms in a digitized manner. There seems to be a certain confusion because there is no unity amongst the Congress people the way they want to pick up this issue.
I'm sorry. The point is, or what you're describing very well, Nilu, is that this kind of surprise and the sense of, well, what do we do next? Which comes when something hits you, blindsides you, and you don't know where the hell is coming from and what to do about it. So different people in Congress are saying, do this, do that, do the other. This has happened in every single crisis that India has faced. There is nothing new about this. It is then up to the government, or if the government is impartial in the issue, and most issues don't have to do with elections, for example, but they to pick up what they hear and to make the necessary reforms and restore people's confidence. In this particular case, the problem is that the government itself is being
All right. So we had to disconnect Mr. Jha because the audio was very poor. But what he said was that Form 7 should be completely weeded out, and that is what the Congress should be doing. But as the question which I asked, that is there any unity within the Congress people as to what issue should you be picking up? And I couldn't get what he was trying to say. But the second charge about Rahul Gandhi, like this is another excerpt of the article which he has written, that coming to Rahul Gandhi's second charge, 41 lakh new voters were added to the electoral rolls in 5 months between the Lok Sabha and the Assembly elections. The lengthy response on Indian Express can be summed up in one sentence. If there has been widespread electoral malpractice, then why did no one from a single opposition party lodge a complaint before the election? Now, this is one thing. And then it points out that political parties are involved at every stage of preparing the final electoral roll. Election authorities regularly hold meetings with political parties, provide them free copies of the draft and final rolls, and publish these on official websites. And during the summary revision period, weekly lists of additions and deletions are shared to allow the objections. Now, the Election Commission's website has, in fact, a 24-page detailed report that elaborates upon this process at length. And ahead of the Maharashtra elections, it went on to add that it held discussions with about 1,03,727 representatives of the various parties, of whom 27,099 were from the Congress. And the piece does not say various opposition parties, so this offers no clarity on how many were from the Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi opposition coalition. Now, what the scrutiny piece did not say was that even if we assume that half of these representatives, that is about uh, yes, so 52,000 were from the MVA. Then, for this number of representatives to examine the list of 1 lakh and 186 polling booths, each MVA representative had to examine current and earlier versions of voter lists that contained close to 2,000 names. Now, closely comparing the current and earlier voting lists for every political booth, even if comparable lists existed or had been preserved, would have been a mammoth task that few would have been able to accomplish, even if they had considered it necessary. And before the 2024 elections, it had never been considered necessary because the nation's trust in the election commission had been complete. And this is the trust that Modi government has shattered. And this loss of faith is justified. So he's given a number of examples, but then again, as I told you, that this is just one part. It's a two-part series which he has written. But sorry about the connectivity issue; we couldn't hear him properly, and we'll try and touch base with him. And again, once if we can interview him on this particular thing, then why he feels that Rahul Gandhi's reply was not so convincing. So we'll try and touch base with him again. Thank you so much, and sorry again about this technical glitch. Thank you very much.